Hi everyone, welcome back. It's LC Editor for World Aviation Festival, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Ross Vinograd, General Manager at Seating for Plusgrade. Thanks so much for coming here today, Ross. So could you just start by telling us a little bit about Plusgrade? What is your main business? What are you at the event to do today?
Yeah, certainly. So Plusgrade is a leader in global ancillary revenue, supporting airlines, as well as hotel, cruise, rail, basically across the globe, allowing passengers to upgrade their trips. And we're sort of at the intersection of both ancillary revenue and loyalty.
Okay, nice. So looking at the sort of ancillary sales, do you think there are any main missed opportunities that airlines are sort of ignoring? And are there any sort of quick wins in this area that maybe they might not have thought about before?
Yeah, I think the size of Plusgrade, I think there's a lot of ways we can take that question, but I like to drive it at one major opportunity that I think is really present right now. When we travel, and I'm sure you can agree, space is a luxury. This is why first class has more space than business has more space than premium economy, and premium economy typically has more space than economy, except when, if you get lucky, and you're sitting next to no one. The industry load factor, according to IATA, is 84%. So on a typical 200-seater plane, there's about 32 seats going empty. So the opportunity to sit next to no one is there, but today, these empty seats are being randomly assigned by the airline. And so the big opportunity to the question is for airlines to recognize this empty space, these empty seats for what they are. They're an opportunity. It's an ancillary that we call Neighbour-free. And to stop handing them out willy-nilly and start giving passengers what they want, which is the best experience in economy full stop, flying Neighbour-free.
Nice. So you sort of touched on my next question there, which sort of like, how does this sort of scheme work? How do you benefit from an empty or unsold seat and also keep passengers happy at the same time?
Yeah, certainly. So Plusgrade's really well known for our ability to bid for a business class seat. If you're sat in economy, you can bid for a business, you can bid for first. The concept applies here as well. You can bid for a neighbor-free experience in the back of the plane. And for a lot of folks, the opportunity to bid for business may be out of their reach, right? So if you can't afford the bubbles in business, sitting in the back with an entire row to yourself, full stop, is pretty amazing. Yeah. From an airline perspective, I think this really unlocks a lot of opportunity. You can, of course, bid for the seat, but you can also spend down your own points for the seat, or you can include it into a loyalty program as well. So I think the opportunity for an airline to include a program like Neighbour-free into effectively their ancillary portfolio is absolute, and I think Plusgrade at this moment in time is providing a real unlock for that scale.
So you touched on that, obviously not every passenger can sit in the first class or have the best seat in the plane. But in terms of making the back of the plane the economy class desired, are there any other extra touches you think could be added? Obviously the option to book neighbour seat is a great addition, but anything else that you think from your perspective like we used to enhance that?
Absolutely. So as a member of, and I'm sure you're a member of a loyalty program as well, how often do you actually get the perk they promise?
Probably I just forget to cash it in, I think.
Yeah, you either forget to cash it in or you try to,
yeah.
But it's non-guaranteed. So whether you're checking in at the hotel and you don't get the suite, or you're trying to fly business but you're not going to get the upgrade. The limited inventory that an airline has to give to their loyalty passengers is by nature limited, and they're always debating whether they sell it retail or they give it away for free. But back to that stat about, there's 32 seats on an average 200-seat plane that are going empty based on industry load factors. There's a lot of seats to give away. And for me, if I'm on a 5-hour trip, I'd certainly take a row in the back. And so I think the opportunity to delight more loyalty passengers is absolutely there. Or simply, if you're an airline that doesn't have a loyalty program and just want to make extra money, this is it's an unlock for extra money that you did not sell retail. Again, this seat is something that didn't sell retail. It's going to fly empty anyway, so you might as well monetize it.
Yeah, I think, really interesting. Especially I've been talking to some other people today about the sort of trend for premiumization, giving customers those little luxuries. I feel like this is definitely one of those things. But in terms of sort of giving customers affordable luxuries, what do you think will be the next kind of trend in that area? What is the next sort of level of add-on that you might be able to give a customer to delight them in just that little extra way?
Yeah, I think in the post-COVID world, we've seen the boom of leisure travel, right? Everybody's filled in to build out a premium economy section of the airplane. I just flew one here. It's great. It's nice and fancy. The cloth is great. They've retrofitted the menu, but that's expensive, very expensive. So here comes Neighbour-free. It is a low-cost ancillary, and I'd say it's the highest margin ancillary in the industry because it literally costs the airline nothing. It's a seat that they didn't sell retail. They could have sold it up until the time of departure, but they didn't, unfortunately. And now it's where you allocate that seat. And so stop allocating it randomly to a few lucky passengers and start providing it as either a loyalty perk or to the highest bidder. And effectively, that comes down to it's a real delight. What we've seen from the data, because we now have 22 airlines that run this program globally, what we've seen from the data is that extra legroom relative to Neighbour-free seat, Neighbour-free seat has 4 times the NPS scores of their own extra legroom product. So back to whether people want to sat in the back or even sit in the middle, right? If you have the whole row to yourself, the majority of the population's under 6 feet. And so move over extra legroom. I think Neighbour-free seat is the ancillary of 2026.
Wow. Okay. Strong words.
My
there.
prediction. My prediction.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your thoughts. It's so a pleasure to speak to you.
My pleasure as well. Thank you.